Actually, I fell in love with hip hop because of Eminem. Of course, my favorite song. Have you ever been hated or discriminated against? I have. I've been protested and demonstrated against. Picket signs for my wicked rhymes. Look at this. So the way he told stories to me was it hit home. I think that's why this song Patriot is so great, because it actually is based on real, true stuff.
Welcome to the Mac and Clay Show again, and today is a unique episode. We have a new guest, and normally we try to keep the show politically neutral, more about humor, more about positive things. However, in light of current events, I think it's almost gotten to the point where it's impossible to stay completely free of politics, especially for Clay and I. Having been in combat, we're both combat veterans, both United States Marines, have received and returned fire. And, the whole idea of fighting for your freedom, what most people would say is the purpose of the military. When you're fighting in foreign battles, lots of times it's not necessarily fighting for freedom. However, I believe, and you can chime in, Clay, we are currently in that fight in this country.
It's a censorship fight currently. One side's trying to silence the other side, and definitely want to squash some freedoms, which is pretty much why the guest is on today, because it's transcended. It's not only been social media, so now it's transcended into the arts and something that means a lot to us. So that's why we have this guest on. Tell us a little about the story, because it's pretty alarming for the freedoms that we fought for and for the stuff that we did, for the friends that we have, the brothers that we lost. This isn't what they fought for. This isn't what I fought for. Everybody deserves a voice, whether you agree with it or not. So that's why we want to bring this up today, and that's why we have these guests that are coming on, and we're going to let them tell their story and where they were at, and let you make your own opinion from them.
So I think it's an important story to tell, like I said, and without further ado, welcome to the show, Topher and the Marine Rapper.
So welcome, y'all. So tell us a little bit about each of your time in service, and just so we can get familiar with what you do.
All right, well, so my name is the Marine Rapper, a.k.a. Raymond Lott. I served 10 years in the United States Marine Corps as a combat correspondent, tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, Morocco, Latvia. Basically, my job was to cover stories on infantry battalions. So basically, all I was with was the infantry, just writing stories and taking pictures. And then I also had an emphasis in marketing a little bit later on in my career, but basically just tell the story of the Marine Corps. And that's basically what I did.
Hell yeah, simplify.
And I'm Topher, full name Christopher Townsend. I did 6 years active duty Air Force, where I served as a cryptologic language analyst. My specialty was Hebrew, and I worked joint task force missions for NSA, along the Navy, Marines, Army, and everybody. Really fun time down in Fort Gordon, Georgia, and that's about it. I never deployed. I wanted to, but the deployment that I was slated for was canceled, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But we was already considered deployed and on site because of our job. So pretty much what I did was interpret information and provide intel to all those Marines out there on the field to make sure that they was in the right spot at the right time.
So what you're saying is you're the smartest one of the bunch. So thank you.
So the guys like us, the grunts who were kind of like trying to figure out what direction to go and shoot at things, you guys were.
Yeah. So while you trying to figure out
intel for us,
why your radio was not working.
Yeah, we were breaking the handset. The fucking thing.
You were back.
So let's get right into it though. So you guys had an awesome song that you recorded, you wrote, you put out there, put your time, your effort, your heart, your soul into this. And what happened? It went number one, right? So tell us about that.
Tell us where it was at, because I want to know how good it went up there.
Yeah. So when it was removed completely from the platforms, we was number 3 on the billboards for digital rap song sales number 4 on the billboards for R&B and hip hop digital song sales, and number 36 for all genres when it came to digital song sales. And you can look this up on Billboard. They released the video themselves, so if you want to verify, do it that way. But I think Apple Music, we had over 300,000 streams. YouTube lyric video has over 300,000 streams. The audio itself had over 100,000 streams. Spotify, before they removed it, the same day as the Capitol Hill riots, we had 160,000 streams. So if they never stopped that growth, we probably would have had easily 1 million streams across all platforms by last week.
And so basically, when you make it on the Billboard charts, that means you are charted amongst the industry's greatest and best. So we were on Billboard charts with Taylor Swift, Smokey Robinson, Drake, and The Weeknd.
That is absolutely incredible, though. How long did you spend on number 1 in R&B and hip hop on iTunes, though? Because I know it was some time. I know you made it to the top there on iTunes.
We were on there for a full week straight.
Yeah, it was 5 days we were number 1. And this was while we had big artists like Saweetie and Doja Cat, who are well prominent figures within the hip hop community, releasing new singles, and they could not remove us from the top spot.
The only thing that knocked us off the top spot was us getting removed from the stores.
So I want to ask you, you guys you weren't like a big label to begin with, and you put something out that you already had that exposure. You rose to the top, kind of pushing out these other major names. And so what do you think it was that was so popular about this song?
The timing. We put out a song that actually, I really wrote the song initially because of me participating in when they had the protest. I think it was March for Trump, December 12th in DC. Mm-hmm. After I came from there, I was on the front lines. I saw all the frustration. I've seen the news of, Ian Smith, the gym owner who has over $1 million of fines for, staying open, and just thinking about how so many families and businesses have been destroyed. I think they said over 60% of businesses will never recover. So it's just the frustration, everything that's going on, and misinformation, and no one wants to take responsibility, and everybody is doing nothing for the American people. And I just wanted to create something from that, and that's where I started. Matter of fact, the first line I used came from a scripture, and that's what I want to start off right. I think God needs to be in the midst of all this, and so I started off with Psalms 91 verse 7. So that's what tens of thousands on my right, thousands by my side. So that's where I got that from. But yeah, I just think it's the right time, and it speaks to so many people because it's not a division type song. It's a unifying song, because a patriot, to me, by definition, is a person that vigorously supports their country and defends against detractors and things like that. So that's not a race. It's not a ethnicity. That's not an age. It's just a attitude that I feel like has been suppressed so many times, at least within the last couple of years.
It has. And with so much division in the country, if you watch the media, it's doing its best to drive a wedge in everybody, no matter if it's beliefs, whether it's ethnicity, whether it's, Republican, Democrat. But that's what I loved about your song, because you even call it out in there. It's everybody. It's people that love this country. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter anything. And so many songs don't do anything to unify or to bring people together.
Right.
To me, that was a draw. First draw is the fact you're veterans straight killing it. And I dig seeing veterans that make it, that do something good and give back. But so you both do things for the community. And I know you, TMR, the lives you do every day, like push-ups suck. Quit doing push-ups, do something about it, right? So just to see people that actually care about the community actually do something and dethrone these people that have been up there means the world to me. It's inspiring to me to watch you guys work and to do what you do. You started Space Force Radio, right? But you're missing.
Yeah, all of us. So Space Force is the Marine rapper, Topher, and D-Cure. So there's 3 of us, and we're all veterans. So that's still an all veteran group. So even if you don't see a track with all 3 of us on it, or you see like a solo track, we're still kind of like collaborating and supporting and at least sharing the music and, so, you know, doing things like that behind the scenes. So we're still a team regardless. You know, we're still rooting on the next person regardless. So if Topher drops something, we'll share his stuff and stuff like that. So that's what happened with this track, The Patriot. Even though D-Cure is not literally on the track, he actually was instrumental in like sharing the track and being a part of that. So we got to give a shout out to D-Cure and Space Force.
Absolutely.
I got a couple questions for you. So starting out, it seems I'm not a musician, but I've heard list of 1,000 interviews of musicians, and it seems like there's always someone that they were inspired by listening to while they were growing up. So I'm curious, who were the rappers that you listened to when you were young? Like, who was your favorite rapper? Like, what style inspired you? Like, tell me about that.
You go ahead.
Okay, so when I grew up in California. I was born in the East Coast, but I grew up in California. So I've always did like grunge music, like Nirvana and stuff like that. So because it always went with what I did, and I used to grow up skateboarding. So I always listened to rock music, grungy rock music, until I got introduced to Notorious B.I.G. So Notorious B.I.G. for me was somebody that broke the mold, because he said it doesn't matter what you look like, as long as you have confidence, you can accomplish a mission. You know, the line, he goes, black and ugly as ever, however, I stay coochie down to the socks. Like, he says stuff like that. So it's like, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm black, but I will still take your girl. And then he does. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, that's why, so Biggie influenced me, because I was just like, I'm this like lanky black rocker kid that skateboards. How do I fit in hip hop? And he was like, yeah, you can do it. So after I got introduced to Biggie, I got heavily involved in like the rap battle scene, like the freestyle scene. And so like, that's my roots. And that's my roots, and that's somebody else's downfall that doesn't know that want to battle me, but they find out quickly.
Some of your battles
You've
are
been warned.
Epic. That is, I love seeing them, and I know you don't have a lot of time to do them, man. I comment on every one of them. You crush fools left and right, and I just sit around waiting. This last, I can't even believe he even tried. Like I watched his video, and I was like, man, come on, dude. Yeah, but the ones you did with JT and that whole crowd, that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, I collaborated with them because like my thing is big on writing, and then, you know, moving to Topher, like he's the hit maker. He's the hit maker, but you can tell them what you grew up on.
Yeah, I grew up on actually I fell in love with hip hop because of Eminem, you know. Of course, you know, my favorite song, Have You Ever Been Hated or Discriminated Against? I have. I've been protested and demonstrated against. Picket signs for my wicked rhymes. Look at the, you know, so the way he told stories to me was, it hit home. I think that's why this song Patriot is so great, because it actually is based on real, true stuff. And he was just one of those people that told it how it was. And he did it in such a way that was unprofound. Like, he talked about everybody. You know, it's almost like taboo to talk about your mom and the family and what's going on, but he exposed all of that. And I kind of just appreciated that art form. And then from there I went, you know, Kanye West started coming out, and then, you know, Ludacris and 50 Cent, the whole gang. And as I got older, I started listening to, you know, Lecrae and them as a little bit. And from there, I got less and less, you know, vulgar. I would say, man, and the music kind of grew with me as an individual. So that's when I just kind of built upon that, and that's what led me to where we are today. So that's why I build my styles off of. I know Eminem's the GOAT, sold over 300 million records. That's just insane to even think about. But yes, that's almost the same population in America. It's almost every person in America bought an album.
And if you guys didn't notice, you know, just a caveat of what he's saying about going to music that was less vulgar, we didn't cuss in the Patriot at all. We didn't cuss in the Patriot. We don't really cuss in our music at all, because one, you have to get 2 versions and it's expensive. Another reason is because it's just, we don't need to. You know, if you're a good writer, if you can write a song, you don't need to cuss in something, especially with our values and we in our target audience of family and a lot of kids listen to our music. We like to keep it on the cleaner side of things and talk about things that the family could listen to, and you could put on the music and then your kid could dance to it. You know what I mean? So that's why we keep it clean.
I'll tell you that.
I like everything about that. The reason I was asking that, the second half of my question is, growing up, I grew up in the 80s, and I had 80s rock was very influential, and then hard rock, metal, Metallica, grunge, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots were all huge for me. And then I had friends who really were into rap. And West Coast rap for me, you got Tupac, anything in the Bay Area I loved, E40, The Click,
Too Short,
all that stuff was just like, I was the white kid with the ridiculous stereo in the back, just blasting my eardrums out. But listening to everything. I didn't have one genre, but I listened to everything. And I listened to some of the songs that I've listened to growing up were so controversial. Ice Cube, NWA, you know, we all know the songs that they released. Violence, very degrading towards women, very, very vulgar. A lot of talk about murder. I mean, how many times you hear 187 in every rap song? Snoop, you know, Death Row Records, they bragged about who they killed. And that was always in rap. That was what it was when you grew up. You listened to these rappers talking about how badass they were. And it was, in a way, in my opinion, kind of dangerous in some level, but it could be considered inciting for violence. And what I find is interesting, none of that was ever censored. I never heard any of that ever taken off the radio. Yeah, you had the explicit lyrics, but like when I was digging through the CD section at Best Buy, I was looking for the one that had the explicit lyrics. Like that's what I wanted to hear. And so the thing that I was interested in is music is such an important part of our culture. Music is what, it's like an outlet for you. It kind of describes how you feel when you can't describe it in words. I can't make it through an entire day without listening to music. Like first thing that comes on when I hop in my truck is the radio goes on, and I pick the song that describes the way I feel at that point, or is the way that I want to feel at that point. And I think music is so important, and to have any part of our culture, like arts, be censored or be shut down is very, very dangerous. And that's why I thought, you know, as soon as we heard what happened to you guys, we wanted to bump you to the top of the list as far as who we have on our show, because I think it's got to be one of the most important things we can be talking about right now is the fight against censorship. And especially something like you guys, when you're fighting, you're talking about something that's so positive and so unifying to bring the country together. And that is what we're shutting down. Yet all this other vulgar nonsense, you know, just in some people's opinions would be filthy, is not being censored, but you guys are. You have to stop and wonder, like, what's the agenda? What's the reason that something like what you guys are putting out is being censored? And I know that you had mentioned you can't really speculate, but I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on that in what you can say.
Well, I can tell you this. It wasn't for copyright reasons. Once again, you know, we've been in here, the business for a while, and there's a lot of safeguards to where if it was a copyright issue, it never would have hit platforms in the first place. And if it would have accidentally hit platforms, it would have been taken down immediately within the next day or two. That's just not something that would have happened. And so when they sent me the warning, it wasn't even a warning. It was like, hey, we're taking this down. They literally said they have no context or reason to why it's been taken down. They just know they have a takedown order, and that's it. That's what my distributor
said that? What did you get?
My distributor,
okay,
DistroKid. So, you know, once again, I'm not blaming them because, you know, the order and takedown order didn't come from them. But, you know, when it comes to the stores, they have to oblige, right? You know how it works. So that's all they said. And I emailed them back asking, like, was it anything at all? Can you tell me anything? They haven't responded. I emailed Spotify when they first took it down. and nothing. They have not told me any rhyme or reason, and I've been emailing them every day since the 7th, January 7th, and still nothing. So it's almost this is my thing. I know for a fact that it had to have something to do with the Capitol, because when we was there and after we got done performing, the song was removed from Spotify almost an hour or two after what went down. But it was up there for the longest. But it just so happened the song was removed the same time the event took place. And since then, so many other people have been deplatformed, and they have been removing everything. So I don't know. It's one of those things where you kind of got to put two together. You're not giving me a reason.
Right.
You're not providing a reason, and you're refusing to communicate the reason. Then I have to assume that it has to be something that is infringing upon our First Amendment. But you don't want to admit it, but we're going to have to make you admit it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you were going to control something due to a rule, wouldn't you want to say and be public about it? Here's exactly what happened. Here's why we canceled it or took it down, to prevent people from doing it in the future, or so that people understand, because then that's a rule that we can all learn from, follow, whatever it needs to be. But just to cancel something and then to not have the, in my opinion, respect for you as an artist and for us as listeners and citizens of this country with our First Amendment rights that you are possibly infringing on. You don't even give us a reason why. It's unbelievable.
They're not giving anybody a reason why, though. They're just censoring whatever they feel is something that is patriotic now. It seems like anything that's patriotic, you say that you love your country. Somehow throughout the course of this year, this flag behind me has been deemed to be racist. Somehow. And I've heard it 1,000 times. So I know, but we've had conversations, and I know what you go through, at least TMR. Like, I know. And so I don't see what has happened in this country to where it's okay to silence an art. It's okay to make the American flag racist. I don't get any of that stuff.
Or even offensive, even if you don't, like, I've heard people say the American flag is offensive.
Yeah.
It's like, huh?
How is that a thing?
I know.
In my opinion, it started. So I think musicians and I think comedians are front line for protecting the First Amendment. I think that they are the front edge, like the tip of the spear, because comedians are always pushing the envelope to try to find something that makes us laugh. And I think the more, like you guys are talking about, the more, you don't have to be vulgar to be a good comedian, but I think some vulgar comedians are hilarious. And the ones that are super witty and can be very topical and talk about things that we all relate to, that's what you want. And more comedians are getting canceled. And I think the problem is when these comedians started to apologize for offending people.
It's an act.
Is when the downfall started, when people realized that they can tell someone else to stop doing something they don't like. It's this negative, it's the wrong thing. I personally believe that comedians, when they offend somebody, they should tell them to shut the fuck up. If you don't like what I have to say, a lot of people do. A lot of people, the reason I'm popular, the reason that people are listening to me is because I'm funny to some people. And if I'm offensive to you, that's fine, but I'm not going to stop being me because you're offended. That's not the First Amendment. That's not how America works.
But can you imagine if Dave Chappelle aired now?
Oh no, he's already said he couldn't have the show. He's already stated that he could not have the Chappelle show right now. He would be canceled.
And that's sad. That sucks. We're losing such a awesome part of our society. Music and comedy. It's sad.
Yeah.
And it's something we should fight for.
Absolutely.
So
and
my
that's
last thing,
and that's why we're doing it. We're not letting up. Just, we can't say too much, but We're not gonna let up on this. We got a whole community behind us. Lots of very pumped up, fired up people who are ready to support us and to really get behind our cause, because like Topher had said before, like arts is very important. And when you start talking about the arts, when you start affecting the arts, and when you start trying to change the dialogue of the arts, that's when you know that everyone's First Amendment rights are in danger. Because that, the most liberal, people that are the most liberal with that First Amendment is the comedians, is the artists. And when you start to take that away and tighten up on the reins on that, then it's like, what else are they going to take?
Well, and the thing about like the government as like a large scale version of like your parents. So I remember being young and going into Best Buy and buying these CDs with the explicit lyric label on it. You bring it home and then your parents hear it and then they throw them away and they yell at you, ground you, whatever. It didn't make me want to stop listening to it. It made me want to listen to it more. And then I had to sneak it. And how many other kids my age or our age or whatever, that's how they felt. It was, if you took something away, you wanted it more. And that's what I'm interested to hear about your perception of how has your song been received, or have the people that know now that it's can't be listened to, do they want it more?
Let's put it this way. I'm constantly getting notifications of sales.
Yeah.
If that tells you anything.
That's awesome.
It won't stop. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it right now. We're out in a location right now filming the music video. Nobody can wait. They want it now.
Yeah. They
want everything. If it has anything with Patriot on it, they want it.
Yeah.
I can't put it into words. It's undescribable.
Yeah. So and I figured that would be. At first I was pissed and I'm like, I have a feeling this is in a backhanded way, this might be great for your career. I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope that everything that they wanted to take away from you is 10 times better for you because they can't take it away from you.
We're getting
because they're not the ones that are able to give it to you.
Exactly. Now that they did that, we had to take it to independent routes, and because we took it independent routes, now see another sale. Because we took it independent routes, now we're getting 100%. Now they get no part of it now, because they used to get 30%. Now we got 100%, and now we have more bread to break, and nobody owns us. We don't have to pay nothing back to no label.
That's awesome. So you had talked about the community wanting to help and support you. So tell us now, if people listening right now want to help and support you, what would you guys suggest? How can they help?
So it's two ways right now. So we still have the fund up for the music video project. If people want to help fund that, it's just paying for, the equipment, the travel and stuff like that. So just want to make sure that we get a good product to everybody. So if they want to support that, they can find that in our link on our social medias. And also, if you go to the marinerapper.com, we have it up there to where you can buy a digital copy. And if you want to go even further, if you think $5 is not enough, you're like, no, I want to do more. You can buy the physical signed CD single of the Patriot, and that's for $25. And you can get that as well. So so many people have literally went there and pretty much bought it. Like they have bought it for the second or third time, because when we had it up, they bought it first initially off of iTunes, right? And then now they don't have it. Some people say they don't have it, and that's another issue we got to talk about. Because if you bought something for iTunes, they should not have the right to remove it. But yeah, so those are the avenues, and YouTube still has the lyric video up, and the music video is going to go up as well. Or if you want to go to SoundCloud, you can stream it there. But like I said, everyone's just pouring in, from popular creators to business owners to just the everyday American that is pissed that they have paid for a service, and that service provider has decided what that person should and should not listen to. And I believe that would upset anybody. It's almost like telling I buy me a sports package, and then all of a sudden I tell you, yeah, we're not going to show the Baltimore Ravens games because, you know, we don't agree with, we don't like purple. And then you're just like, wait a minute, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm paying you for the full thing here. Are you going to give me a discount because you're not giving me all the content? Or, you know, so that type of thing.
And speaking of content and full thing, the CD is going to be signed by both of us because people have been asking that. So it's going to have both of our signatures on it. And that's very important to note because people want to have both of our names associated with the CD. So the signed CD is a deluxe edition of what they're going to get.
Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap up the show, and I'm going to end this here. But we can stay on a little longer with you guys after we wrap up the show and chat for a little bit longer. But I want to say we wish you the absolute best. We're supporting you in the ways that we can. Our audience will support you, obviously, and we'll do our best on social media to do whatever we can to get the word out about what's going on, and just try to be in your corner. I mean, you're one of us, and we love what you guys are doing. And if you have anything that you would like to say to the people watching, now is your chance.
Yo, this is your boy Topher. I just want to say never give up. No matter what they do to you, no matter if they try to take your voice away, I want you to rise to the occasion because that's what we are doing. We are being pushed, and we have fell into the leader role, not something we tried to be, but we will assume that role because we know how important it is. So just stand your ground. You know, we have the Constitution is there for a reason. And if we give up any ground, then you don't know what's going to happen next. And they have been taken and taken. So do not quit. Continue to stream the Patriot. Follow us on social media. I'm Topher Town Music on all platforms, or you can visit my website, tophertown.com, and find me there.
And yo, what's up? It's the Marine Rapper. You can find me everywhere at the Marine Rapper. We want to thank everybody for showing massive support for the Patriot, created by Topher, featuring myself, and produced by Killer Vic. If you guys want to support, all you have to do is go to the website, like we said, buy a copy. We'll sign both of them, and we got a treat in store for you. We got a video in the works right now as we speak, but that's pretty much it, and we will see you on the interwebs.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on the Mac and Clay Show. We're glad that we could have you, and we'll do it. Like I said, we'll do as much as we can to help you guys.
Thanks.